And welcome to the Buffalo Bulls Dynasty, everybody. Today is a special stream as we are going to go through some position battles, take a deeper look at this roster, and start to piece things together for the beginning of year 6. I don't always do streams like this, but when there are a lot of new players, I'd like some more time to sort things out. It's nice to experiment, get on the practice field, and really see what these guys can do, and if anybody stands out compared to their competition. So I have a lot of position battles I think we can look at today. I have made note of all the different spots where I think we can take a look. And the big one is, of course, the quarterback spot, Ray Elway versus David Ogbonna. But right now, I'll say my lean is toward Ogbonna being the younger player, freshman. He was a 4-star prospect. His caps are better. There are things Elway does better right now, but thinking about the possibility of Ogbonna starting and developing and getting better and better, that is the most attractive option for me right now, especially as Elway is better at some of the things I'm trying to de-emphasize a little bit. I don't want to be nearly as much of an aggressive downfield passing game all the time, and I'd like to get the ball out faster in a lot of cases, especially if the receivers aren't able to be the same strength they once were. We lost Braylon Staley. We now have Enrique Trejo as our top receiver. But sorting out this mess is one of our objectives today at wide receiver. So we'll get on the field here shortly. Welcome into the stream, everybody. Hope y'all are doing well. McNabb gonna be elite. I think he's gonna be really good. And I plan on getting him immediate playing time. But I don't think that he is simply like the wide receiver 2 uncontested. I see this being like Trejo's out there every snap, and then we mix and match between guys like Quincy Witherspoon, Oscar McNabb, Sean Blade, and Austin Harris. So I've already set some red shirts here, as you can see, and I'm going to redshirt Roger Grimm because he just doesn't have enough that separates him compared to the competition. But one guy we shouldn't sleep on here is senior Quincy Witherspoon. He has one of the best release ratings on the team, and while his route running is firmly behind Enrique Trejo, it is still, you know, one of the better sets of route runnings on this team. When you look at all 3 levels here combined, 79, 78 with 86 release and 93 speed, 94 acceleration. I have him in the mix. I also have, I just want to see what all Sean Blade can do because he has that standout short route running, but there isn't a whole lot else that stands out, and he's not the most dynamic athlete, topping out at 88 speed and acceleration. So just seeing how much weight that short route running can really carry. Are you going to give some first team reps to the backup quarterback in practice? Yeah, we're going to use both quarterbacks today for sure. We're even going to check out some things on special teams. Just for like returner, I have to see who our returner is going to be this year. At running back, there's definitely a lot to sort out between the guys behind D'Angelo Meyer, who is the RB1. Kevin Babineau, Josh Bloom, Soma Ojinaka, all receiving backs. And I thought Babineau looked pretty good in the last practice that I did during the offseason stream. Has 86 juke, 82 spin, and is a really solid pass catcher. He and Bloom rate well there. And then Carlos Harms, he could have an impact as just a pure power back. His break tackle's an 81. His trucking is a team best 89. A couple more spots I wanted to point out. The offensive line, actually, I've sorted things out a little bit differently here, looking at some of the strengths and weaknesses that we have. So at left tackle, I have moved Nate Fanene there. I think he's switched back and forth a couple times. I have him at left tackle, Baptiste at guard, Dorian Henry moved to center, and then John Burns, Dom Camarda. You can have a bit of a battle here, but I think Burns just has the more complete ratings across the board. And then at right tackle, I have Robert Shipman. We just have to see if this pass block finesse is a big problem. But he is really good against power, good in the running game. We brought him in during the portal, and he could be one of our starting tackles. There are some defensive ends we should take a look at. We have Steven Makovica. We have he's a 4-star edge rusher and a true freshman with really good athleticism. He is a speed rusher with 89 finesse moves. We didn't really see him in the last stream. He and Larry Wheeler are two guys that are a bit more under the radar that should get playing time. Jeremiah McDougal, new starter at defensive tackle, has really good, set of ratings here with the pass rushing and the run defending. I wanted to point out, too, that at safety, Kalen Meekins, 99 zone coverage. So, yeah, he's going to be on the field. We just have to see if his speed is enough, but he's going to have the cover ability for sure. And at cornerback, Byron Gammon, Jeremy Carruthers, even Alfonso Magnifico will have a chance because I do want to incorporate a little more man coverage into some of our third downs. It helped us a lot down the stretch, allowing us to attack some teams a bit better. And at the kick return role, there are a couple guys I want to see, and that is going to include cornerback Devin Hester. Could he have a future on this team as a star cornerback / returner? We shall see. I have edited some numbers. I've edited some appearances. Does any of this look familiar? Devin Hester might be redshirted this year, but he's going to get some time to show what he can do in practice. There's one number I just wanted to change quick that I wasn't a huge fan of. That was Larry Wheeler's 79. The son of the great Pete Wheeler, a multi-sport athlete. We're going to move him to more of a traditional pass rush number. Or maybe we're not. Number 4. All right, let's get on the field then. Who is the fastest player on the team? I believe it's one of our cornerbacks. Devontae Carrion. Then McNabb, then Trejo, Hester, Meyer. A lot faster team than it was at one point, I tell you that. Let's get on the field and do some practice now. Getting familiar with more of the new stuff as well in the most recent Playbook update. So how's everyone doing today? I'm going to put together the full edited off-season probably for Friday. That'll include the off-season stream, everything we uncover here, leading us up to week 1 against Arkansas State. That video is probably coming on Monday. Better than the Vikings. I sure hope most of us are doing better than the Vikings right now. My God. I spent so much of the year skeptical that, Darnold could keep it up. And then, the last 5 weeks, had me really feeling good about things. Just looking at the way he played against Seattle and that final Green Bay game. And he was taking care of the football so well. I don't know what happened, man. Oh, yeah, Darnold is long gone, man. That is going to be J.J. McCarthy's team for sure. Oh yeah, Dallas Turner gives me hope, but they also have an all-pro pass rusher in Andrew Van Ginkel, and they have a Pro Bowl pass rusher in Jonathan Grenard. And they have the cap space to try and address maybe an interior pass rusher and really start to complete things there. Yeah, I'm hopeful about what they can do in the offseason. I'm sure they will do some things that, create some hype for the next year, but the Vikings have not been a consistent organization in my time as a fan. I've only seen them make the playoffs in back-to-back years, I guess technically twice, because I began watching in the 2000 season when they had gone to the playoffs in 99 and 98, and then they went to the playoffs in 08 and 09, but they haven't gone to the playoffs in consecutive years with the same quarterback even in over 25 years. And they're not going to be going to the playoffs with Darnold next year. So, you know, I've been waiting for some consistency out of this team. Get a stretch where you can go to the playoffs 5 straight years and see what that turns into. Instead of just these random pop-up years that they don't manage to build upon. Yeah, the Rams' defense is solid. They've definitely improved over the course of the year, and they've drafted well. They have some really good young players, but they are also like the lowest paid defense, so they're maximizing and getting a lot out of that unit right now. But I think when you have a good D-line, it makes everybody else look even better than they are, and that's a D-line-driven defense for sure. Would I rather have that or just no hope of playoffs at all? I'd rather get to the playoffs and stink than not make the playoffs at all. You win games in the trenches, that's for sure. And I think the Vikings, for about the last 10 years, have done everything in their power to try to win outside of the trenches. Now, I say that while they made massive investments in like Andrew Van Ginkel and Jonathan Grenard this year. But their offensive line, I guess they have invested in the offensive line, but it's still incomplete, and the interior hasn't held up against tougher competition and more aggressive schemes. And they were without Christian Darrisaw for over half the year. So Cam Robinson came in, and he was really good for the most part, just not here at the end. But the Vikings need a true interior presence. They've had like 2 good interior players in the last 10 years. And that would be Harrison Phillips, who doesn't offer a lot as a pass rusher, and Linval Joseph, who didn't offer a lot as a pass rusher. They haven't had an interior pass rusher since Kevin Williams. Hey, Kane, thanks for making our day better. As always, with CFB 25 Team Builder, you think you'll do another Kane All-Star game like you did on All-Pro 2K8. The issue is that Team Builder stinks. Like, it is not very, like, it's in beta, and it feels like it. It doesn't... The online stuff is really janky. I didn't find it to be very user-friendly. And you're constantly fighting the stuff on there, and you can't edit the rosters from the website, so it all has to be done, like, in-game. It's just not a very convenient process, and I'd rather wait until they refine it better and then put the time into, like, recreating these teams, potentially. I wanted to make Kalispell, like, you know, right off the bat. But when I saw the shape Team Builder is, I'm like, yeah, never mind. Yeah, so I'm focused on getting the ball out quicker here with Ogbonna, which plays more into his strengths. I think in that last practice, you saw me still, like, air it out a lot. And that's when we saw more of the inaccurate throws. But we are not getting that from David here. So Sean Blade, we have him working out of the slot with that 96 short route running. We have Witherspoon and Trejo on the outside. Both have good release, plus athletes as well. So Witherspoon is one of those guys we could see a lot more of this season. What's wrong with Team Builder? Like, just simple site functions, like getting changes you make to save, navigating it, making changes. It's just not where it needs to be. It's not as good as Team Builder was back in the NCAA 14 days. And of course, Ogbonna, a very good scrambler, a little bit faster than Elway, more dynamic. Has the ability to do some jukes and spins, but not really what I do with quarterbacks very often. What are the chances Pacheco is the starter? It doesn't really seem like that's going to happen at all. Because I think the potential of Ogbonna and Elway is so much better. I think that Pacheco is like a starting caliber player, but we just have, I think, better overall players. I don't think the Steelers are going to keep Russ. No, I think they're going to go right back to the veteran market. I think there's a chance they could look to bring back Fields, but with Justin Fields as a free agent, that was a laser beam right there. I could actually see Fields getting a little bit of a market. There are so many quarterback-needy teams at the moment, and a draft class that I think most are underwhelmed by right now. So not everybody is going to get a rookie that, you know, has a huge starting future necessarily. And I think that's going to make a guy like Fields more intriguing, especially because he didn't really get a huge second chance with the Steelers. As soon as Russ was healthy, they moved off of Fields and never really revisited it. I think that Darnold could easily be a target of Pittsburgh. I really don't know what his market's going to look like. It's certainly different than it was, you know, after Week 17 against Green Bay. But I don't think that it's going to be, you know, the same like 1 year, $10 million deal the Vikings had just signed him to. I think you'll see a 2-year deal maybe with 1 year of guarantees. Is my best guess. Or maybe a 3-year deal with 1 year of guarantees. Thoughts on the Vikings game? Nope. So yeah, Ogbonna's feeling pretty good right now. Let's get to some of the running game. So we all know D'Angelo Myers really good. We don't need to see as much of him. Let's go and let's switch it up big time here with Carlos Harms. He's really only going to be a power back if he gets playing time, but let's see if he can handle even that. So this is one of the new formations I've also added into the playbook. We have a couple RPOs in here that I like. I do think we should use some more RPOs potentially. This is a double reverse play. I've only ran in practice, so I don't know. Against no defense also. Ooh! So I don't know yet if it's even a usable play. I'm really liking Ogbonna here on the shorter to intermediate passes. And yeah, let's also pay attention at what cornerbacks are out there. As much as I like Carruthers, we don't need to see him too much. So we're going to get Devontae Carrion out there. Let's get the 99. I can't make... Why? I can't make changes to their side of the depth chart. I'd have to back out and do it. All right, so I guess I'm backing out. That's annoying. Brock Purdy's going to get paid, you know, north of Jordan Love money, over 50, 55 million. So yeah, I have to make all my defensive changes this way. So let's make them count then. I need Devontae Carrion. We'll have him be the number 1 guy. We have Gammon on the other side. Tyreek Carmona is another player I kind of wanted to see. He has upside as a returner. He's a really good athlete. His press isn't very good, so I have him as kind of like a developmental slot guy behind Buffelli. Maybe a 4th corner, maybe a kick returner. Let's put Magnifico out there. And then at safety, we know Lampman's good, so let's get Spencer Jordan out there. He has 95 speed. I'm really intrigued with that. And then let's get the Mako Shark out there, along with Pete Wheeler Jr. Yeah, Edmonds' coverage is very good. That's why he's our best linebacker right now. Oh, I didn't pick my playbook. Just switch sides when you hit pause? Okay, I'll try that next time then. Thank you. Hope you're having a great day. 2029 Bulls record. Breakout players. Are we in 2029 already? That felt like, when you said 2029, I'm like, is that like year 8? But no, that would be this coming year. 2029. The record? I'm saying 12 wins. I don't know how many games we're going to play, but I think I'm targeting 12 victories, which would require a very good regular season, a bowl victory, conference championship win. So you go 10-2, win your conference championship in a bowl. That would be a successful season for me. Breakout players. There's a bunch I'm going to talk about throughout this stream. Bold predictions. I throw even more interceptions than you guys think. That's my bold prediction. Making you think to distract you from that Viking performance. I was distracting myself during the game. Second half, I just started playing, I just fired up some Guitar Hero. I'm like, all right, I'll have the game in my ear, but I'm going to play a little bit of Guitar Hero, and I'm not even going to watch this anymore. I can't do it anymore. Hey, Kane, fans since the Minnesota Gopher days. Wanted to ask about an out-of-the-park baseball series. I will attempt to try it out this year and find the time to do so. I think I figured out how I can get to some of these other ideas. I just can't be doing them in a way that requires me to do like a 20, 30-part episode series or something more than that. But I would really like to check the game out this year, see if I could do something with it for content. I've only played the game really one time, but I did enjoy my time with it. You know, for instance, I've been doing some Road to Glory over on the second channel. I posted a video on Christmas Eve, and I have finished the recording for the junior season. So within the next week, I'd say, as I work on editing that up, you should be able to catch the junior season for Tim Cannon over on the second channel, start to finish, all in one video. All the streams I did back in July and everything that completed his first year as a starter is on the channel right now if you wanted to check that out. Watching since I was like 12. I'm 23 now. I appreciate that, and you sticking with it. That's like half your life. I'm not quite yet at the point where I've been doing this for half my life, but we are approaching it for sure. Laser, Witherspoon. And thank you for your first ever super chat. Appreciate that. I think you'd do well with Out of the Park. I think I'd really enjoy it. I think that it's something else to see if I can make a game that's a lot more like menu driven and everything, fun to watch, if I can present it the right way. But this is a year for me where I'm doing a lot of experimenting over on the second channel. And overall, I'm emphasizing that channel. You know, on the main here, I'm really just doing Buffalo Dynasty. I don't really have a whole lot of other ambitions there as far as like other big series. But there's a lot I'm working on with the second channel, different ideas, different things I want to try. And if you followed the channel for the last month or so, you've probably seen a lot of that. What positions are you looking? When did you start YouTube? 2011. What positions are you looking to address in recruiting? So because we have such a small senior class this year, there aren't a lot of standout positions that I have to address. Even the ones like cornerback, where a couple guys are graduating, we have like 4 freshmen there. So, ooh, that was a good ball. So really, it doesn't come down to position this year. It comes down to finding just the most intriguing players we can, the highest rated players that we can, and trying to build up a really good, tight class. We have like 12 outgoing players. Oh, the truck stick there out of Carlos Harms. You got to get out of harm's way. I could see us using him as a red zone or short yardage guy. I think he has pretty good receiving skills as well. I'm actually curious here. If I check out our running backs, who has the best pass blocking? $72 for Carlos Harms. So red zone, short yardage, third downs might be where he fits. What's his catching? 63, but with good route running. So 63 is not great, but you don't need high catching for like screen passes and stuff. I think we have a role player there. The plan this year is to get Meyer a lot of carries, and then I think you're going to see us use a lot of backups to spell him. Right now, as far as like who the true RB2 is, if like he were to get injured, I think it would probably end up being Babineau based off of what I played in the previous stream. But we kind of have to sort that out between him and Bloom, who I think is really intriguing. Let me try to run a couple plays here where Harms can maybe show us some of his pass protection. Didn't really have to on that play. Really good at spinning out here. That was kind of an accident, but it worked. Our offensive line is blocking so well that Harms doesn't have to do anything. Why are we blocking so much better than our last stream? Yeah, we're definitely testing out his receiving ability still to see, like, if I throw him a handful, does he drop any? And he hasn't yet. Meyer, 12,000 yard season. I definitely think that's in the cards. Especially behind this offensive line. Did I miss direct? Love your content, Kane. Been here since the Vikings in Madden 12. Yep, that was Madden 12 and in Madden 11. I did, you know, I wasn't established there. I just started making something because I wanted to try it out. And, you know, there weren't a lot of games at the time I was into. So when I started making YouTube videos, I was actually, like, more interested in getting into maybe like the shooter scene, like Call of Duty or Gears of War 3 was coming out that year. But like I wasn't playing that stuff at the time, so I just fired up Madden 11 and was really surprised when like the first video I put up in it got a few views. And so I just kept going. And now it's been, you know, like 14 years almost. And I'm glad that I make this style of content over the multiplayer shooter stuff, which I don't have as much interest in these days. It comes and goes. But I don't play those games very consistently. I become a single-player driven player when I'm just kind of chilling and doing stuff for relaxing and hanging out. Ogbonna is slinging it today. You want to see a couple Ogbonna deep balls? That's Jordan there at the 95 speed getting over the top of things. I predict a 31-27 win over Arkansas State, but Howell. We'll see if it ends up being a good game or not. I'm excited for it. I think it's a fun opening week matchup. The offensive line and Ogbonna just both seem even better than that last practice I had done. Like, he's just not missing anything. I'm going to switch things up here after this play. I love this play. This is a new one I added in. This is an RPO that I can throw a deep ball on. That's not really common, right? Because he's in motion there, doesn't have to get set. Literally, like it's an RPO, and he's catching it 20 yards from the line of scrimmage. That's nasty. I will say, since the last stream, I have mixed up the line a little bit. Just by having Fanene as the left tackle instead of Berryman, who really struggles with finesse. And then Shipman out at right tackle has seemed to hold his own. Burns, Baptiste, Henry inside have all been really solid. But yeah, this is an RPO. You can hand off, or you got McNabb on that, deep ball, plus you have the tight end on the shorter route. So it's one of those plays that you can do a lot with. If you wanted to see that one, I see Direct wants to take a look at it. Wings trip weak. Motion wheel spot. There are a few different RPOs that can kind of get that same effect. Maybe it's this one on the right here. There's the motion RPO read Y flat. Yeah, this must be it. But then you also have like the motion play action cross switch. That's why I like this formation so much. It has some really unique RPOs, some motions here. Like this is a play here that I like. Because it has this pre-snap motion, so you get a look at the defense, and then you can throw it, into the flats quickly. That's kind of a play I like sometimes down in the red zone as well, if I'm really trying to get that guy in the slot the ball. What does power and finesse mean when it comes to O-line? So there are like 3 ratings that determine like how good a player is in pass protection versus run blocking. I really don't know how it all works. I believe that the pass blocking and run blocking ratings are the most important. If you look at like tight ends and running backs, players that don't play on the line, when they have good blocking, it's all about their run blocking rating, not the finesse or the power. I really don't know where that kicks into it. Obviously, higher number, the better. But I think the most important is that simple rating. I can't find your playbook. It's called Buffalo YR6, only on the PlayStation 5. They don't have this as like a cross console save system online, unfortunately. I uploaded it during the last stream though, so it should be there. Let's get Elway in there. I think Harms has shown us some good things. Let's try Bloom. Just because he's a little bit faster than Babineau. Bloom has a little bit higher break tackle. And then at tight end, I wanted to... He might not play much this year at all. He might be red-shirted. But let's get Morgan Scarborough, the true freshman out there, 4-star. He has, average speed, but he's strong. So I think he's going to develop into a solid tight end, 83 catching, 75 short route running. If we needed him to play, he could. I just think he's like our 3rd best option right now, so we're giving him the time to develop. Brady becomes a channel member. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Every month I do a channel member live stream. Oops, I didn't want to change the play there. I wanted to move the ball back. Every month I do a channel member live stream where I talk about things going on the channels. Just basically boils down to, you know, an hour and a half or so of Q&A in a live stream. And if it's baseball season, I'm usually getting games for my current baseball franchise, or I'm doing something else channel related on the side. But if you wish to support the channel that way, it gets you access to channel member streams at the end of every month. Nice pass to Trejo. How do you add to your team after downloading the playbook? You can only choose it like when you're about to enter the game, and in the additional options, like when you're picking your uniforms and stuff, is the only way to apply it. I have to do that every time I enter the game. Sometimes I forget in the case of like going into practice mode. How do I become a member? You hit the join button. They could make it clearer because people ask that all the time. Like, the join button is how you become a member. It is $4.99 a month if you wish to join and support the channel that way. Ooh. Did he drop that ball? There we go. Trejo's going to be getting all the targets this year. A lot of them. There's the Mako Shark getting to him there. The offensive line is just playing outstanding for the most part. What's going on, LaMarvelous? How you doing? If you set your playbook in the main menu to your default, you don't have to change it ever again. I don't know if that works on custom books. With inferior 2 to 5 receiver, are you planning to do more quick short route concepts to get the ball out? Yeah, that's kind of one of the emphasis of this season. Especially because I think we're going to be a really good running team. That we need the passing game that just works better with that. I didn't like that we had a 58% completion percentage last year. You know, I think we ran it only like, I don't know if it was like 40% of the time, 41% of the time. But for how good we are at running, it needs to be kind of the focal point. And then pass in a way that lets us, you know, continue to run. We need to have like a 65% completion percentage and just, you know, keep getting first downs, get us into 3rd and short. Don't take a bunch of sacks. So most of the stuff that I added in this new playbook revision was stuff that I thought would help us get the ball out faster. Some of it was like 2 tight end formations, because I think we have pretty good tight end situation. Some RPOs. I like a lot of routes where the running back is involved in the pattern. Sounds like Big Ten football. Maybe we're trying to get ready for an eventual move. And really a lot of this comes back to we lost the bowl game. We lost the conference title 2 years in a row. So now I want to get good at the things that I believe will help us win when those games come around again. Because we've now shown we can, you know, win versus MAC competition. We're a lot better team than we used to be. But now winning the big games has to be the next step. Beating better teams. I'm excited to see how we look against Michigan. Hopefully we can be respectable in that game at the very least. Elway's speed is like an 80 or 81. It's a few points lower than Ogbonna's with, I think, lower acceleration. Ooh, Ooh, Scarborough there breaking the tackle of Buffelli. I like seeing that. Does Ogbonna still have the playing style deal breaker? Yes, Mark. As far as I'm aware, that stuff just doesn't change. So if I don't end up having a productive passing game, Ogbonna is going to want to leave. Last year, we were just under the B- that keeps that player safe from leaving. We ended up with a C+ grade at around 250 yards passing per game. So consider that although I want to be more run heavy and whatnot, that we still need to find a way to probably average like 260 to 65 yards a game. Which, if we're not hitting as many big plays, that could be challenging. So at 265 a game, if we play, let's just do it at a 12-game sample. 265 a game. If I'm throwing the ball 30 times a game, that means we need to average 8.8 yards per attempt, which is fairly aggressive. Or we're getting a lot of yards after catch. And I think, like, 30 pass attempts a game is a good target. Elway's been missing some of these deep balls today. So what was I last year? I'm actually really curious now what my yards per attempt was with Colson. I'm going to pull that up quick. Because 8.8 is rather high. Yeah, we only had 8.6 2 years ago. We averaged exactly 265 yards per game that year. So, that is going to be challenging. Hey, Will, becoming a new member on the channel. I really appreciate that. Thank you. So this is good to have this conversation, though, and to go over the numbers on what we really need to realistically do. For us to get to 265, if we're not hitting a lot of big plays, we need to be very efficient. 65+ completion percentage in that case. We have to probably get really good at getting yards after the catch. Use the running backs in the passing game. And while, like, I'm not going to be chucking up a bunch of deep balls with this offense, Trejo is still a guy that can beat defenses deep. What was Colson's yards per interception? I know you're probably being cheeky. I'm actually curious. So Colson had 3,202 yards and threw 21 picks. That means we threw an interception for every 152 yards. And at 393 attempts, it's an interception every 18.7, which is an interception rate of 5.3%, which I think is pretty horrific. Yeah, I love that separation Blade can get there with that 96 short. There's some real potential with him. Yeah, Elway misses again. The demonization on Kevin Kajus should be studied. It's a pretty simple study, really. He wasn't a big-time performer. What kind of balance in pass to run should you be aiming for? Probably like 55, 45. That would be good for me if I'm also using the backs in the passing game. Because if I'm using the backs in the passing game, a lot of screens, that can bump up our pass attempts. And then 55%, when you're including those within the 55, I think is really good. Practice goal line, right as I put in Eric Pacheco. That sounds like a good idea. Let's go here from the 10. And let's switch up the plays. So this is where I think some of the new 2 tight end stuff will be useful. This might also be a good chance for us to utilize the run game a little bit better. So I do have Pacheco in there right now just to get him some playing time. I thought Elway actually looked not as good. What's the throw power for Elway and Ogbonna? Elway's is a 93. Ogbonna's is a 91. And keep in mind that Elway, as a player, is basically at his caps, while Ogbonna certainly is not. Just watch the Saints playoff game. As a Saints fan, you now know the pain of the Minneapolis Miracle. Yeah, I know what it's like to have a young, promising safety completely ruin a makeable play that cost us. I know mine happened at halftime, but like to give up an extra 7 points in the NFC Championship to the 1 seed, as soon as that happened, I knew that our chances of winning the game were a lot lower. Hi, Kane. I know you don't agree with me. Go Lions. Sorry we won't get a Vikings rematch. Hope you had a good holiday season. Cheers to the Bulls. I appreciate it, JS. Good luck to your Lions this week. I think it'll be a really fun game between Washington and them. I'm more so looking forward to that game, I think, than Philly and the Rams. But, you know, the Philadelphia defense being so much improved this year, I find really interesting. Because, for one, their defense has been pretty disappointing in a lot of years. And they obviously hired Vic Fangio at a time where a lot of Fangio-inspired defenses have been getting annihilated. And a lot of his coaching tree seems to be getting, like, run out of the league. With guys getting fired and these schemes kind of being figured out. But, you know, the master himself, Vic Fangio, obviously running a good defense this year, primarily because of the play of rookie defensive backs. Like, those two things combined, it's kind of a brain melter. Where's my water? I'm thirsty. I think I forgot it. Yeah, Fangio himself has never really been bad as like a defensive coordinator. But a lot of his disciples have not replicated his success, especially recently. Let's get some receiver rotation in there. I think we've seen a decent bit of Witherspoon. We know a lot about Trejo. We'll replace... and McNabb is a guy, too, we can't forget about. He can also be the key to us getting our yards per game up because of that 98 speed. We just can't be, you know, taking too many chances there, I don't think. Yeah, let's get Blade out there as well. Let's even try Armin Tolzien. I love the way Jaden Daniels has played this season. He's been amazing. The efficiency in his game, the decisiveness. Like the way he can attack defenses underneath, and it reminds me of like the way Lamar Jackson attacks teams through the air, but I think Daniels has even more upside as a passer. I think Daniels can be like a higher completion percentage guy. I think he's got a really high ceiling. Oh, yeah, Zach Bond is another reason why the Eagles' defense has been better. 2 rookie corners and Zach Bond coming over have been colossal for them. Bond's been fun to watch all year. Every time the Eagles are on, man, like, you know where he is. I'm going to grab my water quick. I'll be right back. While I'm away, I'm just going to hit this insert ad button if you don't mind, but BRB. All right. It's also like 1,000,000 degrees in here today. Yeah, was Bond only on a 1-year deal? I wonder how easy it'll be for them to keep him around. Because I think his market's going to get pretty nice. What did Blake Cashman get last year for a deal? I think it would be probably a tick above that. 1 year, $3.5 million. So that's really a bargain bin signing for a guy who's played at like an All-Pro level. Did he actually win the All-Pro? I forget if he was named, but I feel like he's gotten so much national attention this year, it'd be a crime to not. Yes, he was. Okay. I have not seen the rumors that the Mets could get Vlad Jr. I can't say I'm paying attention to it because I didn't even know that, but I really want to see where some of these rosters go because I'm thinking about who I want to use in my next series in the show, and I'd really like to finally do a baseball series in the AL East. It's competitive, obviously. And I would just have a different challenge. And the teams there that would be interesting for it would be Toronto and Tampa. Especially Tampa because they tend to spend less money. And I kind of want, you know, a more challenging road. So I'm basically hoping the Rays look terrible. What is their projected win total? I think the last time I saw it, it was one of the lowest. Because I would love to... I think the Rays are probably my team this year. Spoiler alert. Let's see the win totals for 2025. Right now, they have in the East, the Rays 80.5, the Blue Jays 77.5. So I think I could probably take my pick. Also, stadium-wise, what is their situation right now? They're going to play at George Steinbrenner Field in 2025, which means I wouldn't have to play at Tropicana Field. I get to play in an open-air stadium that I assume makes its way into the show, right? Have I considered doing a live stream on this channel for video series on the second channel? I've done that before. And I guess it's happened before, like with Tim Cannon stuff becoming a video over on the second channel. If there was something I really wanted to stream, or I felt like that would be the best way to record it and then put it over there, then I definitely would. And if I do anything like new and interesting over on this channel this year, it might be something like that. For instance, what if I did like All Pro Football 2K8 season, but I streamed the whole thing on my main channel and I edited it to put on the second channel in a more condensed form. That I could see. To me, getting around to some of those other football games is the kind of thing to do when it's like NFL off-season time, when it's like June or July, and there isn't a whole lot, you know, to do leading up to the new game. And that's when I should be trying out, you know, stuff on Backbreaker, Blitz the League, All Pro Football. Let's get a new running back in there. I think we should also just do some running only now. Been throwing a lot of passes. 2 wish list items for this year. Head coach 09 and out of the park. We'll see if I get to head coach. I don't know if that one is nearly as high on the priorities right now. All right, so I thought Kevin Babineau looked pretty good in that first stream. He does have some make you miss elusive skills. Not the most explosive runner, but fast enough with that evasiveness. I would probably stream more during the draft if I felt like I had something to add and talk about. Because, like, I'm more so the person that would watch a live stream during the draft than do my own live stream. You can stream out of the park. It's pretty chill. Maybe that's a way for me to check it out. Especially because I'm not as familiar and I could probably use some help along the way. Like, streaming games I'm less familiar with is probably a good way for me to finally, like, do something with NHL, do something with 2K again. If I can make videos out of it, even better. Yeah, I should probably give Babineau some gloves. I had to do a lot of uniform editing because, like, half the players come in with a hand warmer. So I removed a ton of hand warmers today. Actually, a play that I think would be really good to, like, see what Babineau could do. He, to me, is kind of a space player. So let me find one of my swing screens in here. Plays where you might have to make that first man miss. See, like, I think he has a pretty nasty juke. I should try out Bloom doing the same stuff, because I think he is a better athlete. Revisit NFL 2K5. Actually, one idea I had for a video, because I never did this back in the day. I didn't actually play 2K5 when it was new. I just played Madden at the time. But I wanted to do the crib in 2K. I wanted to deck out the crib, which I would have to, you know, probably run a cheat code to get some tokens or whatever the currency is in there. I'm sure that would work. But that'd be pretty fun to revisit. I wouldn't mind playing it either. But the game I was really into in the 2K series was 2K2. I had a long franchise on there that was fun, but after a while, I got 2K3, I remember, and I'm like, why am I getting 2 football games? I can only get a few games here or there. I don't need 2 football games. Buffett said Pokemon battles at first glance. Man, I wish. Imagine if we had some Pokemon battles in here. Why is this thing being so buggy again? All right, so we've gotten a little bit of a look there at Babineau, and now let's, just so you know what the best player on our team looks like, let's run a few with D'Angelo Meyer. Best running back on the team, very explosive player. After one more Babineau screen.
Here we go. Ready, go.
Any thoughts on trying College Hoops 2K8? I have it, yes. I tried a few years ago. I had a Kalispell basketball team made up, and then I streamed it once, and I was so overwhelmed by trying to play and figure out the recruiting that I ended up just kind of doing a one and done with it. It was kind of disappointing. I'm not really good and knowledgeable with the basketball games, and I really want more, like, experience with them because I think basketball's great. And, like, I've had fun when I can kind of get into the swing of things with the games, but I've never been someone to play them consistently or watch basketball consistently, so feeling lost isn't fun. Especially when I want to make content out of it. Recruiting is tough in that game, but rewarding once you get it down. At least there, what's easier to manage is like smaller rosters. You're not recruiting like 30 guys a year. There wouldn't be any need for that. Our defense is just kind of good at tackling, I think. Especially Leon Edmond, who has 99 tackling. What's the deal with generic FCS teams? I guess they just don't have the rights to put actual FCS opponents in there. It's just a lower level of team. Easier matchups to get a look at your team with. All right, so Bloom is going to be out there now. Run a few more of these screens. MVP college baseball. I've really wanted to do something with that before. Now that I have more familiarity with the baseball stuff, I think that would be really fun to check out. The only time I've ever used it for content was in the first episode of the Sidney Jean-Charles Road to the Show when I was getting like a clip of him at college. and I was using an emulator, and I had a save state on there because I specifically wanted to get a clip of him hitting a home run in college. And I remember having to load that save state so many times, and then I just like bumped the game down to the easiest difficulty so I could get the clip. That's like the only thing I've done with that game since it was brand new. I remember when it first came out, I had a friend who got it, and I remember trying out the swing stick. They wanted you to use the right stick to swing, and I could not wrap my head around it and never realized I could just edit the settings to make it, you know, hit X to swing, which is what I prefer and what I do.
29 Philly. 2-9 Philly.
Favorite football movie? Longest Yard. The Adam Sandler Longest Yard.
Moves. Jack. Grab it.
Let's run some simple runs here out of the pistol.
Let's go.
Probably get Harms back in just to see him here in the red zone and how he compares, because we haven't really seen a lot of broken tackles.
Lasso.
I liked Friday Night Lights, especially the TV show. I mean, that's a classic. That's so good.
Flare. Flare. Come on, set. 42.
Am I surprised by the Vikings outcome? Being a fan for 25 years, not really.
Easy. Spider. Ready, go. Set. Ready. Ready. Cricket.
All right, so I'm gonna switch it up again. Get Carlos Harms in there. Yeah, his I'm not juking with him in most cases. There, he's just pretty shifty still without it. Like changing directions with him feels really good. That's all left stick.
Here we go. And hot.
Now we got Harms in there.
Ready.
I don't think his cut is nearly as explosive. I think he loses more speed. But can he make up for that by falling forward, breaking tackles, being tougher to bring down?
Here we go. Ready. Now.
See, there's the kind of animations we're looking for. That's, you know, the good finish there on the safety.
Go.
That's what we like to see.
Green 25. Set. Hot.
All right. I've seen enough out of Harms to know he's probably going to have a role this year. There's a few things he's really good at. I haven't really seen Oji Naka play, but I'll get him the same opportunity here. I'll have him be the running back for a few carries, and then as we work back into more of the passing game, I'll have him out there to see if he can stay in this mix. I just think that both Babineau and Bloom, being players who I recruited as athletes, have more diverse skill sets and can just do more things.
Igloo. Hot.
But yeah, not really breaking tackles, not falling forward as much. Kind of first contact and down. Do I think Dion will go coach for Dallas? Man, I could see it. I could. I guess I'm really interested in what happens with Shedeur Sanders and if Dion tries to do anything with wanting to coach him in the NFL. I could see Dion making the move to the pros this year. There are some intriguing openings for it.
42 Spider. Come on, set. Spider.
All right, let's back the ball up a little bit here.
Cricket.
Let's go back to Ogbonna. Which formation gives me my orbit motion I like so much? Be this one.
Green 25. Reset. Cobra. Set hot.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Darnold's going to be somewhere else next year. I think the plan was always to do this for 1 year and then move on. Obviously, he had a better season than anybody could have imagined, but the way it ends, I think you stick to that original plan. And his, his price is going to be higher this coming year anyway. And the Vikings are going to have cap space to put more pieces around J.J. McCarthy, so that's the route I believe they should go. Matt is right on him there. Good ball.
29 Philly. Hot. Here we go. Hot. Ready. Ready. Moves. Ready. Jackrabbit.
If you haven't already done so, please leave a like on the stream. We have 166 likes at the moment, over 500 here. Getting a look at almost a Kalispell. Buffalo before we get year 6 underway in the coming days. We try to put everything together for another run at the conference title.
Lasso. Set hot. Here we go. Go. 40.
Yeah, I think I've seen enough of Oji Naka. I would like to get Bloom back in there. You know, when Meyer's getting most of the carries, these guys are going to get a few here or there, and they're going to have to make the most of them to keep getting playing time. So who ends up being the RB2 for much of the year? It might depend on just who makes the best plays in the first couple weeks of the season to make us want to see more of what they can do.
Cricket.
There he is, Sean Blade. I think that route running continues to look good, although that shouldn't have been a short route running play at all.
Cobra. Ready.
This play has more deep stuff than I think we'll be using this year all the time.
Let's go.
I'll have to check out Bloom's caps because I haven't seen them in a little while. And I do think he's looked really good in this, to the point where I think it would be pretty even with him and Babineau for second running back work.
Hound 55 weak. Ready. Igloo. Reset. Here we go. And hot. Slab. Go. 29 Philly. 2 ready. Moves. On.
Yeah, this is a custom playbook. It is available on the PS5 as well. Called Buffalo Year 6, YR6.
Jackrabbit.
It's one I've been working on for the entire series. I usually change stuff up every off season, depending on what I'm trying to emphasize that year.
Come on, set. High. 42 Spider. Ready. Spider. Ready.
Yeah, I felt really good about Ogbonna's play here really the entire way. I think he's been more consistent in this stream, especially on the underneath stuff. Sometimes it feels like his release is a little bit slower, but I think we're seeing that primarily on the downfield passes. Let's see some of the downfield again. Like there's a little bit of like loading up as he lets it go. And sometimes that costs us on these longer developing plays is all. Do I think there's any Texan sports teams you'll switch allegiances to? No, at this stage, I am what I am. There's no change in that.
Here we go. Set. Ready.
Yeah, this is an RPO that I really liked the entire way. Scarborough all the way to the end zone. I think Scarborough's had a couple nice plays in here. I think he'll be someone we can probably start maybe next season, assuming he takes a good leap as a 4-star.
29 Philly.
Yeah, I'm tired of this formation right now, though. I want to get some quicker passes. What do I want to call? Yeah, this one has a lot of the
Get set.
shorter stuff I like.
Here we go.
Yeah, really liking what I'm seeing out of Bloom, too. Should get Austin Harris out there a little bit more. I haven't really used him the entire time. Yeah, Bloom's start and stop is nice. Just trying to get guys, you know, some plays, and then I use someone else to try to see the difference and how they feel and play. Let's get Austin Harris out there. Swap his side with McNabb. There you go. I mean, the ball got there. He had a chance at it. Ravens claim Deontay Johnson. Did Deontay... I don't think they have waivers this time of year. I think that waivers go away after the trade deadline, right? Wait, they still have waivers, huh? Oh, no, it's the opposite. It's after the trade deadline, everybody goes on waivers, even veterans. The Ravens claim Deontay Johnson. That is bizarre. Why? The move won't be officially awarded until after the Super Bowl, but his unrestricted free agent rights belong to Baltimore, which would mean a free compensatory pick. That's also why the Vikings added Daniel Jones to their active roster, because now if he signs somewhere and leaves, the Vikings could potentially have a compensatory pick. We'll see, because they're probably going to be big spenders this year, or try to be. No one is paying him enough for a comp. I mean, probably not. But I guess it doesn't hurt. Ooh. What defense do you normally run? I've noticed you run a lot of 4-3. Yeah, I mean, I run what the offense dictates I run, really. Like 4-3 by default, but teams are running 3-4 wide, so I'm usually running a lot of nickel, which y'all have 4 linemen, 2 linebackers, 5 DBs in most cases. We might start running a little bit more man coverage. It's still in like a situational way. Like to me, I like to break out man coverage when it's like 3rd down. I want to send pressure. I want to force the ball to come out quick. And I'm going to force you to beat one of our guys one-on-one. And as our defensive backs have gotten more athletic and just better, I should be using that more and more. Yeah, McNabb's pretty fast. Just speeding through that void. We're going to have to see what he's capable of doing this year. There's a good ball. That's a really good one. And that's to an 80, 81 speed tight end, keep in mind. Sometimes I hold the button a little bit too long and don't really get that full-on lob, and a lot of passes can get tipped or undercut, but not like that. What have I missed? Please tell me it's Elway all the way. Ogbonna's been better today. Ogbonna has been pretty impressive. He just threw his best pass, I think, of the day. We're going to try it again for Scarborough. Safety got over, though. Could we see McNabb as a return man? Definitely. I did want to do some kick returning. Are we ready for some of that? I have like 4 guys. I'm interested in being our kick returner / punt returner. Oh, I can't believe I got it there. Yeah, I feel like it's been a totally different stream than the last one. The offensive line has been amazing in pass protection. I know that we do get hit here, but if I stepped up, it wouldn't have been the offensive line's fault. Let's try some kickoff. And then I need to flip sides. And the guys I had wanted to see as kick returner are Kevin Babineau, who we have carried like the football with more today, so I'm going to try other guys first. But Tyreek Carmona has 92 speed, 93 agility, 90 acceleration. He is a DB. Also has 96 change of direction. And then McNabb and Hester. Now, the kick return formation will probably give us a chance to see 2 guys at a time. So we'll put McNabb and Carmona back there. We'll try punt returns in a little bit. And we will have Hester be the first to do that, very fittingly. Now, Devin Hester's return ratings aren't as good here as we'd like, but 95 speed's very nice. 90 change of direction, 83 juke. So I think I'll have to just kick one off, maybe. And here we go. Giving the first one to McNabb. Tyreek Carmona. Definitely felt pretty dynamic on that first cut. Ooh, he's going to break one in just like 3 tries. That's a touchback. I kind of wish when they celebrated they moved a little bit faster. It feels a little bit... I broke the game. What happened? Why? I wonder if fumbling there, like, crashed the game or something. That's hilarious. McNabb is a game breaker. He is. That's like one of the first times this game has ever crashed on me. That was rather unexpected. All right. Getting back in. Should be able to use an auto save to keep my depth chart changes I did. Yeah, thankfully, these games don't crash very often. But we're going back in for more. It's hard to not just give the job to the 98 speed guy, for sure. I mean, I've had Staley return kicks for much of the series. All right, no more crashing. We're moving on from that, right? All right. Carmona. Yeah, that cut, in and out of that cut, is really nasty. He just doesn't have 98 speed is all. McNabb, I think he's got a little bit of that too. All right, give one to McNabb again. Yeah, I mean, you feel like he's gonna break it like every time. They keep kicking it away from him. What's going on, Trey? Carmona seems quicker. I think his acceleration might be better and maybe his change of direction. But I think, like, there is a pretty big difference between 98 and 93 speed. You know, receiver speeds are clustered between, like, 82 and 99. So every point, you know, should be felt from one to the next. I tend to like the shifty guy on punts because you usually have to get around. If you can get around the first guy, you can unlock a lot more space in most cases. A lot of times on kick return, I just want speed because I just want someone who can run through a crease. Let's try some punts. Let's have them use just a standard max cover punt. We might have to back them up, though, considering they are punting from the plus 30-yard line. No, this is not time to show us what our new punter can do. Stop that. Any big decisions so far? Oh, I think one is definitely Carlos Harms being someone we're going to use as a guy in the red zone with his power, a guy who can pass protect better than our other running backs. I'm starting to lean Bloom over Babineau for some of that RB2 work. I'm feeling Ogbonna at quarterback, which, you know, I've kind of wanted him to have the job, thinking he has the highest long-term upside, and he's a redshirt freshman, whereas Elway's a junior. And I want to see the caps on Bloom as well, because I am not refreshed on those. We got to get Devin Hester some punt returns now. It is time, everybody. Get Devin Hester back there after this next kick. Yeah, I wish he'd give us a little more returnable kick. Devin Hester. I thought about calling a shield punt just because it might be tougher for them to cover from it. Thought it was breaking that. Our punter's getting too much hang time. I think we're getting a good look at our brand new punter right now. This is Ross Fatinikun. And he's pretty solid. We can't even return these kicks. This one should be returnable. All right, we're going to pick a different play. But maybe our punt game is going to be really good this year. We're just going to do it from punt tight. This might be unfair. He has 90 kick power. Hester, 95 speed. Wish I could cross-train his skills as like a running back as well to add on to the return upside. Yeah, that juke isn't really doing it for me. Let me see some of those ratings. I mean, 42 break tackle. He has... .67 return. Like, returning isn't what he's meant to be doing. Where's... Okay. 40 stiff arm, 75 spin, 83 juke, and I still wasn't liking it that much. And this is actually a bust punter that I have, Trey. But when I saw 90 power and like 70-something accuracy, I'm like, yeah, that's definitely enough. Even if he's at his caps, like he can punt for 4 years and be fine. There's something better. Okay. Yeah, obviously the 98 speed guy is going to be our best return option. I would take him too. It is not great having punters with low kick power, and it's tough to find a balance on those freshmen. Usually, like the accuracy punters, their power will legitimately be in the 60s. So I don't think that archetype is even useful. You just have to go power and hope that there's enough accuracy, which isn't really that much of a concern for punting. You just need power to get the ball away. All right, so perhaps we'll see Devin Hester returning kicks at some point again, but I think we know that McNabb is going to be our guy there. Let's get back to some regular plays after one more. The spin move for him is even worse. I can try his spin, but it won't be pretty. Wait a minute. Why'd that work better? Your juke is supposed to be so much better. Ooh. I think we figured out the offensive line, just seeing them play so well here. This is with Nate Fanene at left tackle after being our right tackle for a while. The newcomer Shipman, he's the star at right. He's holding his own there. I think the interior has done a pretty good job. I'm liking some of these backup safeties too, making plays on these. Ooh. That was Maka right there. That's the true freshman I'm excited to see this year. Number 4. That's Wheeler. Larry Wheeler. Ooh. Have I considered Camarda at center? Not a ton. I did worry. I don't think that the finesse weakness there would show up nearly as much because he's going to be dealing with more power there inside. It's something to think about because he is a mauler in the running game. Oh my. His strength is like an 86 though. We have guys with better strength. I mean, he just put this move on a guy with 99 tackling. That's D'Angelo Meyer. But we already know his role. I want to start a dynasty with a West Coast team. Any teams come to mind? I always think of like San Jose State. Smaller West Coast, or Fresno State. Hawaii, yeah, I'm sure that one is a tougher one to recruit from. Because what are Hawaii's pipelines? Oh, they really got up there.
Here we go. Set. Set. Ready.
Oh, man, he has a strong arm if he can overthrow McNabb on a deep ball. Playing with Ray Elway right now.
Pound 55 weak. Ready.
Whoops.
29.
Hawaii doesn't have its actual stadium in-game? Why is that?
Easy.
Yeah, Bloom. Oh, the stiff arm there at the end.
Ready, go.
I feel like Bloom has leapfrogged
Moves.
Babineau.
Green 25. Set. Here we go. High.
Aloha Stadium is in ruins. Oh.
Come on. Set. Ready.
Man, what a hit by Edmund.
Spider. High.
Should have him here. Who's keeping up with that?
Let's go. Reset.
Again? Oh! Magnifico actually got... That was underthrown a little bit. Sometimes you throw 170 and it only goes 69.
Igloo. Ready. Easy. Go. Slab.
Yeah, always looking good here. Really good.
Get set. Get set. Ready. Here we go. Set high.
Quit blitzing.
Cricket. Ready, go. Ready.
Now let's see some of those same deep balls that Elway has been money on with Ogbonna. When that play's called again, I'll highlight it.
Set. Hut. Flare. Flare.
I do think Elway's deep ball is a lot better. As it should be. Stronger arm, more accuracy. Here's the exact play, though, that we were getting those big touchdowns on. Come on, Wheeler. Now's not the time.
Ready. Hut. Set. Reset. Easy. Set. Down. Ready.
Yep, not quite out in front on that one.
Go. Jackrabbit. Ready. Come on.
The deep ball is what separated Colson from Pacheco, too. Yeah, I think it was a pretty pronounced difference there.
Go.
But part of what I'm factoring in is that Ogbonna is a redshirt freshman. and that the more he plays, the better he's going to get. And there are certain things he already does better. After a while, I'd assume he's pretty much better at everything.
Lasso. Last stand. Get set. Get set. High.
So I think part of it does come down to, like, how badly do we need the deep ball? Like, if I try to run the offense the way I have intended, does it work well enough? Are we missing something?
Ready. Reset. 29 Philly. Stand. Moves. Ready. Green 25. Go. 42 Spider. Ready. Set. Hut. Ready, ready.
Yeah, it doesn't seem Ogbonna's one to outthrow the defense here in this this version.
Flare. Flare. And hut. Spider. Ready, go. Igloo. It high.
Magnifico also hanging with McNabb, to me, is really impressive because there's like a 10 speed difference, but he's not like getting destroyed.
Set. Ready. Ready, ready. Set. Hut. Cricket. Belly stutter. Reset.
Oh, how about that one? Just go up and get it. I'm going to change Magnifico's number 2 from 16. That's going to be Ogbonna's.
Down. Ready.
And then Spencer Jordan at safety with that 95 speed. He's not a starter yet, but I think he will be eventually. A little bit behind him, but a good ball. Good catch. Speed outs, comebacks. Yeah, I like the idea of doing some comebacks. I've been throwing more of those. When you can get the good protection, it's a nice option to have. Let me call one. Might take me a second to find one of the ones I have in here. This is actually the way I prefer to do it.
Cobra.
A comeback on the same side as a vert to try to draw off any second defender.
Ready, ready. Lasso.
It's a challenging pass to make.
Easy. Ready, go. Pound 55 feet.
Quit blitzing. It's annoying. Handling that fine.
Get set. Get set. High.
I don't know if I have a play that would be the backside of a 3x1 I'll have to see how many 3x1s.
Here we go. Another day, another day. Ready, ready. Set. Hut.
Yeah, Trejo's going to be our guy on those probably. This slot drive will work. It's a 4-wide formation. Not a problem on that.
Here we go. Reset.
Look at Bloom picking up pressure for me. That was good too. Yeah, the more things we ask Bloom to do, the more he shows he can do. Could McNabb see some time as a running back in a Debo role? It depends if he has actual running back skills. Like, if a guy only has speed, it's not enough. I need, you know, some break tackle. I need a juke or a spin. Carrying as well, because you're going to take some hits from players you're not used to getting hit by.
Here we go. Set hut. Come on, set. Ready, go.
Yep. You're not struggling on those comebacks or anything like that.
Let's go. Set.
That's the first bad one, though.
42 spot.
Ah, thought I could outrun him there. That's something else I should be able to do with this 84 speed, though, is work outside, still throw a good ball there. All right. Let's work on other stuff. Opinion on Service Academy dynasties? I think they're really cool, especially if you try to, you know, maintain their identity as an option-oriented team.
Slab. Ready, ready. Get set, get set. Hut. Here we go.
I don't love running the option as much here in this game specifically. The option game to me and the pitches just don't have the feel quite yet. Seeing like pitches that go way off target. Maybe I just need more reps with it to really see the limitations. But I felt like the option game had a better feel in NCAA 14. There's one.
Here we go. Go.
Yeah, Bloom, he's RB2 on day one.
Set. Ready, ready, ready.
There's just so much to like.
Jackrabbit. Set hut. Set. Ready, go.
Need I say more?
Cobra.
So he has some playing time to start the year for sure.
Lasso. Last stand. Pound 55 weak. Hut.
Ebiketie at tight end, I'm also excited because of his speed is the best we've had at the position. Good hands. You know, I like tight ends that can catch the football reliably. And then Clink Scale will be the tight end 2. And I think that it'll give us one of our best 2 tight end packages we've had in this series. We haven't used a lot of it, partially because of who's been the tight ends. And the Playbook stock didn't really have a lot of that stuff to begin with, so I've had to tailor it over the years. Late, how did Babineau look? He looked all right, but we have someone who's looked better as the RB2 today. I was just talking about him. It's number 30, Joshua Bloom. More explosive, more elusive. He's just looked good the entire stream. Yep, Ogbonna's deep ball just not quite there yet, but it could get better. He still has the skill caps to where he's going to have a chance at developing a decent bit. He's a redshirt freshman. So this is still like a version 1, I would say, of David Ogbonna. Oh, yeah, I would agree with that. Bloom is a starting caliber running back, but when D'Angelo Myers on the same team, he's going to be starting. Witherspoon's got some questionable hands. I wonder what his catching ratings are, because he's dropped more passes, I think, than anybody today. Granted, that was a catch in traffic, but 79. Which, you know, it might be a 1 point. How big of a difference does that matter? Well, it probably matters once you see him drop the ball. And that's going to be among, you know, the lowest here, even if there's a 3-way tie above him. Yep, short to medium with the occasional deep ball. Kind of more when they're inviting us to test downfield. I'm not going to really be trying to push it as much. But, you know, we're still going to have McNabb running verticals. And if they want to play press coverage and invite certain opportunities, we're not going to pass them up. So, based on even just the catching alone, it might be Harris over Witherspoon for that depth receiver spot. Yeah, we're going to have to back out and see the Josh Bloom caps. That's what I'm most interested in right now. And he's like a halfback pass candidate too, because he had he was an athlete who I thought would be a quarterback, but given our depth chart, he, you know, would have seen the field a lot more as a running back, so that's why he's listed there. And here are Joshua Bloom's caps. Playing style is a deal breaker for him. Star development, 3-star player. And there's still room to grow. Not in elusiveness, which I think would be the most important position for him to get better, but can get a little stronger, can develop more as a pass catcher. But he's already a pretty good pass catcher too. He has 3 carries for 19 yards in his career. How about this? 3 carries, 2 broken tackles. About as small a sample size as you can possibly have, but 2 broken tackles on 3 carries. How many does Oji Naka have? Yeah, this, like, it It does this all the time. Ojinaka had 2 broken tackles, but over 20 career carries. With 4 catches, 24 touches, 2 broken tackles. How about D'Angelo Meyer? 82 carries, 6 broken tackles. Yeah, he's not like... He has, I think, high break tackle, but low strength. It's a little awkward. But I think, like, he scored 7 touchdowns last year, partially because in the red zone, they just couldn't stop him. I noticed there, D'Angelo Meyer has a playing time deal breaker, which I think is based off of overall at the position and how much they assume they're going to get on the field, not how much you're actually getting them the ball. So he's listed as our second running back here in terms of overall. So that must be why it was a B-. So if it fell, but yet I still intended to use him as a starter, that would be the kind of thing that would make you like try to get rid of a guy that was even higher rated, I guess. That's a very fringe, option. It does look like Pacheco lost his abilities here when I made that move from running back to quarterback. So I don't think I'll be doing a lot of that development in the future where I just say, a guy's at his caps, let me develop him somewhere else. Because I don't want my players losing abilities. It's one of the ways they can separate themselves and differentiate themselves. So D'Angelo Meyer has the 360 ability. I'm assuming that's for spin moves. Oh, it's improved juke moves. They're keeping me on my toes there. Babineau has recoup. That's a stamina recovery one, I'm pretty sure. And then Bloom has safety valve. Improved overall catching. Playing style is his deal breaker. And as a receiving back, we need to be throwing the ball for him to be happy. Let's see, what's double dip here on Trejo? Improved double move routes. I would trade that for takeoff. Quincy Witherspoon has layout. That's going to be for dive catches. McNabb has that with shifty and recoup. What's the exact thing on shifty? Better at changing direction. He has a championship contender deal breaker, so we got to stay strong, or he ain't going to like that. Not too worried about it. All right. 50-50. Is this a contested catch specific one or just spec catch and jump ball ability? Okay. We don't have many at the tight end position, just Logan Clinkscale. Pass block wins fatigue defender. I don't usually pass block the tight ends very much. Improve double teams on inside runs. Run block wins fatigue defender. That'd be really good for a guard. Ground and pound. Anybody else have that? Camarda does. His abilities are so good. Improve double teams on inside runs. Run block wins fatigue defender. Yeah, I'm going to have to get Camarda some playing time. We have like so many offensive linemen that are good enough to get on the field. So Burns seems to have more pass block oriented abilities here. He's got elite dev, 92, improved pass blocking, good with the quick drop as well. So his movement is improved. And then Robert Shipman, our new right tackle. Yeah, he's really good. Strong grip. Boost to lateral shed prevention on runs. So if I want to run off tackle to the right side behind him. Yeah, he has silver strong grips. So yeah, I like that a lot. Have I had any first round draft picks yet? No, not yet. But I feel like with this offensive line, there's got to be potential now. Maybe I try Camarda as the starter over Baptiste again. That's how it used to be. And see if anything is different this year, especially as a run-oriented team. The abilities on Camarda, especially with the ground and pound, might be nice. But also we just saw our offensive line do really well when Baptiste played every snap. What is inside shield? Improve double teams on inside runs. Okay. All right, on defense, we have Antoine Gatto. I think I'm blocking these, so I'm not even allowing you guys to see all the abilities as nicely. Quick jump and takedown. Quick jump is one I love for my speed rushers. Takedown improves sack attempts. Surprisingly, no abilities here on Makovica. Jermichael Humphreys had a kind of a fast start to his career in this series, and then it's really slowed down since then. Increased pressure effects on the quarterback. He's going to get playing time, but here's how his career has unfolded. 2 sacks his first year. I guess he has gotten better throughout. I feel like we only got him a little playing time in the beginning, and he made like the most of it. And then getting more, you know, the success wasn't as often, but he's definitely going to start to begin the year, and I'm sure he'll have a good impact on the game, especially with these abilities. Not many abilities here at D tackle, unfortunately. Edmund has wrap up. He has 99 tackle and improved standard tackles. Why doesn't he have platinum? Does he have to like earn that still even though he has 99? At cornerback now, what abilities do we have here? I'm interested when we have like these clustered ratings. Abilities can be a separator. Improved man coverage, improved interception returns. I appreciate that, Tobin. Thank you for the super chat. Jacoby Pearman needs a coaching job. He might. He could teach them a thing or two. Just run fast. It worked for me. House call seems to be a very common one. Magnifico also has jammer, improved press technique, improved man coverage. So he's someone I could look to get out there more often just because he does have better man coverage than I think our entire cornerback group outside of Buffelli. So 83 man, jammer ability, 85 press. And then not many abilities for the rest of these guys, unfortunately. So it's kind of like, do I want someone there more athletic? Because I'd say he also, like Buffelli, has more of a slot-oriented skill set with his lack of like long speed. So if we like think about next year, probably goes into the slot, but we can get him some playing time here this year. I think what we do then is we make sure he's listed as our second slot, and then when I go dime, I have the option to get him on the field. He'll be, in a position to play some more man coverage that way. I like the sound of that. All right, what's robber? Yeah, quick jump is probably my favorite ability in the game. It's one of the most impactful. Improve movement in zone coverage. Aftershock, that's a new one to me. Big hits produce increased wear and tear. I'm going to build a whole defense of aftershock players. And Kalen Meekins, who has 99 zone coverage. His caps aren't very good, but like he has 99 zone coverage already. And the abilities too on David Ogbonna. Let's talk about some of those. Improved pressure resist on the run. Accuracy boost to quick pitches. Not really running the option though. Off platform, improved accuracy, crossbody, or back foot. So as we're running away from pressure, magician, improved pocket movement. He doesn't have that one apparently. What's head first? Improve truck moves. I'm excited about this year, guys. I think it's going to be fun. I think we have ourselves an excellent team. Offensive line looks pretty loaded. We just got to get good at the things that are going to win us the big games this year. And get better at them throughout the season. So my lean is still Ogbonna as the starter. Thinking long term. Thinking about how we're emphasizing the offense. Love his mobility. Underneath balls. And we'll see if the offense can succeed with this kind of a style. Certainly the quarterback running game can be a part of it. Bloom as the RB2. Harms is going to be one of those guys that I like specifically put him in for certain spots. And then here with Witherspoon and Harris, there's going to be a lot to sort out. I'm probably going to start off with the speedy guys out there, Trejo and McNabb, and then kind of figure it out from there. Because that will go Trejo, McNabb with Blade in the slot. Right now, I probably lean Harris over Witherspoon, though. Yeah, and if there were anything else I was curious in, maybe then it's like, how does Camarda handle things at center? I think that the improved double teams especially, I mean, centers are going to be part of double team blocks all the time, and trying to give us good running lanes up the middle could work out. I might have to practice with that first, though, and just see it in action, because we just had a really good period at the offensive line. Really good. And then I think we have Oscar McNabb as a kick returner. Carmona can be back there as well. Will I redshirt Mako? I think at the beginning I'm going to play him and see if he makes enough of an impact to warrant playing without it. So I love that we can have up to 4 games played before making those final decisions. Super nice. But I think, like, we're not returning a lot of sack production onto this team. So I think last year, our highest sack producer that wasn't a senior had like 3.5 or 4. So I really want to see how good this pass rush actually is this year. And yeah, Magnifico, he definitely got bumped up a little bit today to the 4th corner spot. So I might get back in for a short little session here quick just to see how Camarda plays at center. Because, I mean, he's one of our 3 highest rated players. We have 4 offensive linemen here, 92 or better. We do have Dorian Henry at center now, but if Camarda can be a mauler in the running game and not be too much of a penalty issue. Let's start off with our senior, our best rated offensive lineman there. Let me save in case it crashes again. Yeah, we're just going first team versus first team. Please leave a like on the stream if you haven't already, and if you're also not subscribed, definitely do that now, and you can hit the link down below, check out the previous episodes in this series. Been doing this since the game came out, and plan on doing it until the next game comes out, pretty much. Out of the way. This old line with D'Angelo Meyer, man, it has potential to be really scary this year. I saw Camarda just got beat. I want to see how it happened. That juke. What is the carrying on Ogbonna? I have to know, kind of, can I take on some contact? Is fumbling a huge risk? He has 77 carrying. Yeah, Meyer's not the most consistent pass catcher. He can do it.
Green 25. Go. 42 Spider. Ready. Come on, set.
Let's get down there in the red zone. Let's do another red zone session. We never do enough of that.
Let's go.
Let's go from like the 7.
Easy. Ready, ready. Get set, get set. Here we go. Set hot.
Gatto's got that closing speed. He's like a really, really fast edge rusher.
Set. Hot. Hot. Spider. Black 24. Black 24. Set.
Yeah, I think this team can run block a little bit.
Flare. Hot. Igloo. Ready, ready.
I think part of the plan needs to be just get to the red zone and
Here we go.
keep it simple from there and run the ball.
Hot.
Maybe not run too much of this double fake play action. I don't think that's the way to go.
Set. Ready. Reset.
I mean, our run defense was a lot better a year ago. I'm not sure what to expect this season because we did lose like our best run defender, our top run stopping defensive tackle. Diving.
Easy. Ready.
I don't know. Things change every year there, so hopefully it can hold its own.
Cricket. Ready.
Is this team good enough to win the MAC? I feel like this is definitely a weaker team on both sides. I certainly think it's going to be good enough to be in that conversation.
Cobra. Set hot. Down.
It just might be a little bit different team.
Ready, go.
Ooh, got him to bite on that fake.
Here we go. Hot.
3 things are certain in life: death, taxes, and Vikings underperforming in the playoffs. Sincerely, and also underperforming Packers fan. Thank you, Albert. Hey, I think Green Bay had a more respectable performance against Philadelphia than Minnesota did.
Let's go. Hot.
And there were opportunities for Green Bay to get in the game late, but the injuries they were taking in that fourth quarter. I mean, what do they ever say about Dobbs after the game?
Lasso.
Because I know he's battled concussions this year, and he came down really hard in the end zone on the back of his head there. They lost him. I thought, Jaden Reed, I thought he broke his arm the way he was holding it coming off the field. So, I mean, when you're throwing to Bull Melton and Malik Heath in the fourth quarter of a playoff game on the road against a 2 seed, probably not going to be enough.
Pound 55 weak. Go. Set. Hot. Ready.
It's kind of weird. I think I felt better about the Packers receiver situation before the season than now.
Ready, ready.
Because I think they have, like, on a lot of teams,
29 Philly.
most of those receivers would fit in as a 2 or 3.
Here we go. Ready, go.
Let 99 throw a halfback pass. I'm not sure I can have him line up at, well, I bet there's a way. Let me try it. I have an idea. This is when we're up like 35 and there's like no risk of losing the game. Tregs pulls up. Tregs! Oh, he threw a dot right there. Nope, you can't have your fullback throwing a crossbody at halfback pass. I am not stopping until we get a touchdown from it, though. Bang! Oh, McNabb, you're demoted. Demoted. Dang, I missed a lot of the stream. Just got off work. How's it going? It's going well. We're almost wrapped up here, but we definitely figured some things out today. Guys like Josh Bloom at running back have looked really good. I feel like Alfonso Magnifico definitely had some good moments at in coverage against Oscar McNabb, who's just a dynamic freak of a player. I like our backup safeties a lot. Spencer Jordan with 95 speed. Watch out for him in the future. Maybe not so much this season. But especially if we try to make a jump in competition at some point, change conferences, we need guys who really stand out athletically. The offensive line has looked really good today. Better than the previous stream I did. I don't think he'll stick around longer in Green Bay. I think him and Jair are gone this offseason. I could see it with Jair. Who are you saying is gone? Oh, Christian Watson is probably who you're talking about. Yeah, that guy has dealt with so many injuries, and it was a big focus of his offseason last year to kind of get to the bottom of what happened with the trying to figure out how to avoid these hamstring issues all the time. And it was a torn ACL, correct, on him? He's definitely a difference maker in that offense when he's out there. Like, he's not going to be a guy who catches like 7 or 8 balls in a game most times. But I think the way Green Bay runs their offense, so much misdirection. They use a lot of the running game. They really, widen the field. They run a lot of play action. And having that vertical guy to not only make catches downfield, but to threaten the defense, to make the rest of what they do easier, it is like an essential role in their offense. And without Christian Watson, like Jaden Reed catches 2 passes a game, and like suddenly, without Christian Watson, their best receiver becomes Romeo Doubs, because he is, I think, the best like route runner inside of 10 yards. I don't know. Was one of his hammies smaller than the other? I don't know if he has imbalanced hamstrings. I imagine if you did have imbalanced hamstrings, that could be an issue. Green Bay's offense is a thing of beauty. When it's when everybody's healthy and LaFleur's in his bag, it is a frustrating offense to deal with, for sure.
Pound 55 weak. Stand. 29 Philly. Two high.
I mean, just look at the games they played and the other game Malik Willis had to finish. That's when I feel like the LaFleur offense went into like hyperdrive because it became even more run-oriented, more mobile quarterback-oriented. I'd really like to see what that offense looks like against like a better opponent with the Malik Willis offense. Just to see what it would look like. Not that I actually think he should be their starter, but...
Here we go. Go.
I mean, Willis went from a guy who was probably... like nearing a roster bubble situation to now... probably solid RB2 in the right scheme. Or QB2, I'm sorry.
Slab. Ready, ready.
Very scheme specific. My Seahawks are in quarterback purgatory. Are the vibes not great right now in Geno land? I know he had a lot of interceptions this year. He's, certainly not getting any younger. I think he's definitely carved out a spot, as a league average quarterback.
Set. Hut.
What do I think of Vrabel to the Patriots? I like Vrabel as a coach. I think that's, a very get back on track, fix kind of the culture kind of hire. Like, to me, if the Jets or Bears could have landed Vrabel, that would have been a good fit. I believe, we talk about bridge quarterbacks sometimes. I believe there are bridge coaches and teams that have had so many like failed regimes and constant change. I feel like the Bears and the Jets need to find that type of a hire.
Lasso. Lasso. Stand. Pound 55 weak. Ready.
Like, I think Ron Rivera is one of those guys too. Like, a Ron Rivera team is probably not going 4-13 or something.
Easy. Go.
And so, Ron Rivera was with Washington, and then they move off of him. They bring in Dan Quinn, and I think that the defense started to get better. And obviously, everything comes down to like Jaden Daniels being Rookie of the Year this season.
Here we go.
But
Ready, ready.
maybe Ron Rivera was the right coach after their last chapter, and now you make the move to the next coach. I think there are bridge coaches. Yeah, everybody did think Dan Campbell was a bridge coach, and I think
29 Philly. Ready, go.
no one expected it to be this successful. He might have been a hot seat guy there for a little bit.
Moves. High. Let's go. Stand.
I think Josh McDaniels will be the OC for the Pats again.
Easy.
What's he been doing? What has Josh McDaniels been doing the last 2 years?
Green 20.
How do I think Dan Campbell will do without his assistants now? Well, if both were to leave, I think obviously losing Ben Johnson's a big deal, but I still think that roster is so good. I think even like a bad offensive coordinator or average offensive coordinator would end up being, would look pretty good calling the shots for that team. Johnson just kind of takes it to that next level because he has, he knows how to pull every lever, He does such a good job with all facets of that offense. They have a lot of ways they can beat you because of how solid the roster is. So I'm not really worried. They might not have a superstar OC next, but who knows? Maybe it's an OC that looks really good in 2 years because it's an offense where you can look good calling the plays, you know? We've seen guys like Pat Shurmur get a head coaching job because he looks so good calling plays for the Vikings when they had, you know, like Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen. Then he went to the Giants, didn't really do anything there. I think Camarda's starting right away until he shows that he shouldn't be. He's like one of our highest rated players as a senior, so we'll open with him as the center before we go down to somebody in the 80s for overall. Here's how experienced we are right now. Obviously new quarterbacks, so not much production here. We know that Meyer looked good on 82 carries last year, so he is the guy. Expect him to hit the ground running. Harris and Trejo, both very experienced in the offense. For the offensive line, a lot of experience, a lot of games played. Nate Fanene has played 41 games here at Buffalo. And then Buffelli, Lampman, Edmond, Carruthers are the only guys that have picked off passes in this defense. Our sack production is also significantly different. I talked about how last year, like, I think Troy Hodell led us in sacks outside of seniors maybe, or could have ended up being Humphreys because he might have gotten more at the end with the 6.5. Or no, okay. So Humphreys didn't play last year much. He played 2 years ago a lot more. Not as much last season. So Hodell with 4.5, he was the most sacks by a non-senior a year ago. So the edge rush now, we're in an area of just seeing what we got. Antoine Gatto, 3-star player, 79 finesse, 85 power to go with ridiculous speed and burst. Thankfully, his caps aren't too bad either, so he'll keep getting better. I have a feeling McCarthy goes to Chicago. That would be my lean as well. Offensive-driven coach. I think at the very least, an average coach for a team that really needs to just get out of this basement-dwelling lifestyle, basically. I mean, there are coaches that can just kind of get things on track, even if they're not like the ones that bring you to the Super Bowl or something. I think McCarthy is one of those guys. I also think that McCarthy to the Jets with Aaron Rodgers for one more year is objectively the funniest outcome. So I am cheering for that. Who goes to the Saints? My prediction is the Saints will be like the last team to fill a position, and it'll be whoever still wants a head coaching job. I don't know. I just don't think it's a very attractive spot. You're not going to land a big name there, probably. Why did the Cowboys block the Bears from an interview just to announce they're moving on? I'm assuming it's because there was genuine interest, but the contract couldn't be agreed upon. There's one thing we have to remember. McCarthy was not fired. He was a rare lame duck coach. He's leaving as a free agent the way hundreds of players are about to. It's just rare that ever happens at the head coaching position. So the Cowboy job is really interesting. It's kind of a little bit of a surprise opening, I suppose. I also wonder, this feels like, given how many openings there are, how many kind of unattractive openings there are, this would feel to me like a second head coaching job for Mike Zimmer, potentially. Jets, Saints, maybe something like that. But I haven't heard his name like thrown around at all for interviews or anything. But if not this year, then probably never again. Do I think Dion would be a good fit in Dallas? Sure, why not? I think he'd be like a personality-wise a fit. What was going on with those rumors of KOC being traded? It was more so rumors that teams would attempt to trade for KOC. It came from a good reporter too in Jay Glazer, which if you're going to blindly follow any reporter, I think Glazer's generally top of the list. It wasn't more so the Vikings will trade him, but that there's like genuine interest in teams that would genuinely offer a lot to make it happen. No one wants KOC now. That's a good thing. The only insider I follow is Pat McAfee, the Aaron Rodgers insider. That was probably just an agent trying to get a KOC extension done. That's one thing you need to realize is that 99% of what like we get as like behind the scenes info is agents feeding information to Schefter, especially like Adam Schefter. His like Twitter feed reads like copy paste text messages from agents. If you read like the last couple sentences of some of those, especially around free agent time, talking about, you know, so-and-so coming off an injury, feels great, ready to help show he's still one of the best, you know, cornerbacks in the league or something like that. Like, it is pure agent propaganda, and that's the vast majority of what we receive, is stuff agents want the zeitgeist to believe and talk about. I can't wait for week 1, guys. I can't. Week 0, actually. So excited I can't even wait for week 1. And we'll find out what happens with guys like DeMarco Lacumbo. Well, that's going to wrap it up for me today, everybody. I think we've sorted out some things with this team for this next year, and I can't be more excited to get back onto the field with this team and try to right the ship after more postseason losses. I mean, think about this last week for me. The conference championship with Buffalo, the bowl game, the NFC championship in the Saints franchise, the Vikings. What the hell? What did I do to deserve that? It's time to turn things around, okay? Y'all take care, and I will see you all in year 6. Got a video coming out Friday, probably to combine the off season and this stuff here today. And then Monday, probably week 0, Arkansas State Red Wolves. I'll see you then. Have a great day, everybody. Subscribe, leave a like on your way out, and have a good one.